takers and givers. I've been called the latter, but am I really a giver? If I don't give to myself, don't take care of my health, care for everyone else, I usually give away my best. But get into this reset, get into this reset, get into this reset. Takers, givers, I've been called the latter. Get into this reset, yeah. I'ma adjust my clock like daylight savings, next era unlocked, and I ain't playing about me. You think I'm acting brand new, but this was me before you. Ain't nothing to start over, owe me on a new vibe. She blowing my high, gotta recalibrate my sundial. Yeah, reset. Ain't nothing to start over, owe me on a new vibe. Blowing my high, gotta recalibrate my sundial. Yeah, yeah. Reset. Recent past is feeling like a past life. Can't believe I saved your heart to break mine. You could see I shifted shape to fit yours. Can't forget I made the move to move on. PCH to the Potomac River. Take a break, recalibrate, forgive her. Trip the road from Stockton to Stockholm. Yeah, peace and grace to travel safe through time zones. Adjust my clock like daylight savings, next era unlocked, and I ain't playing about me. You think I'm acting brand new, but this was me before you. Ain't nothing to start over, owe me on a new vibe. Blowing my high, gotta recalibrate my sundial. Reset. It ain't nothing, no. Me on a new vibe, blowing my high, gotta recalibrate my sundial. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Reset.
Love. Miss Independent, I be loving how you winning. I just wanna go catch your vibe. Ayy, wanna see you in the daytime and not when it only get dark outside. Ayy, type of love I can't hide. Ayy, maybe wanna blow your line. Ayy, you don't finish your line. Ayy, I never wanna blow your high. Baby, what's on your mind? Really wanna see your face. Baby, come through and slide. Spend the night at my place. Asking what's on my mind. Wondering how it tastes. Maybe wanna press rewind. Give me that double take. That's on my mind, 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 my mind. That's what's on my mind, on my mind. Exit 110 and hit the 210, cause baby I'm in your section. I know you like to work out, mama. Can I get a late night session? Can we do some late night stretching? Or can we do some late night? Cause talking ain't enough and pictures ain't enough. I'm tired of the late night texts. Look, you been leading me on for a minute. Trying to catch a vibe, pick a song and I'm with it. Girlfriends calling your phone, you should miss it. Why you acting tough when you know you submissive? Calling your bluff on the roll, ain't switching. Ringing doorbell and the rose came with it. And if you really with it, yeah, rose came with it. It's so sweet, pack of honey still dripping. Baby, what's on your mind? Really wanna see your face. Baby, come through and slide. Spend the night at my place. Asking what's on my mind. Wondering how it tastes. Maybe wanna press rewind. Give me that double take. That's on my mind, 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 my mind. That's what's on my mind, on my mind.
Welcome to the only show bringing cops and the community together for some real talk and some real listening. This is uncut. This is uncensored. This is Black and Blue Live. Hey fam, what's going on? Welcome to Black and Blue Live, where we, the cops and the community, come together for some real talk and some real listening. My name is Dale, like it says right there on the thing that just went away. Hey, welcome to the show. We're gonna have a real good one today. This is kind of a anniversary sort of show today, because I'm gonna have some people on that have been on the podcast version. That's where I sit down with leaders in law enforcement, and we just talk about themselves. And we want to talk to some people today about, where they were back then and where they are today, change, evolution, all that sort of thing. So, hey, I appreciate everybody for checking us out. Right now, we are live on these platforms. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, they call it now, Twitter, whatever they call it right now. We are live on that. And we are also live on Instagram for the first time. So big ups for that. Appreciate everybody for checking us out, sending in your comments and questions. And we're going to have some fun today. And hey, so let's get to it. All right, y'all. So my first guest today, way back then, he was the chief of police when I first interviewed him. All these guests here were like early guests of the show when I first started the Black and Blue podcast. So I appreciate them coming on back then. The first guest today, he was the chief of police of Louisville, Kentucky, the University of Louisville, Kentucky Police Department. So everybody, please help me welcome to the show, Chief Gary Lewis Jr. How you doing, sir?
Wonderful, wonderful. Greetings from OH. Yes, sir.
Idaho. I'm sure everybody that doesn't hail from the great state of Ohio know what that is. I understand that Ohio State also trademarked "the" in their name. I just heard something about that, because people get.
That is correct. Yeah, a few years ago they worked to trademark the in capturing that, and it is really been another dynamic, especially for the university as well as the community as a whole. Yep. So yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely. So I told everybody that where you were when I first interviewed you a couple years ago. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and where you are now.
Yeah, so this is my 31st year in law enforcement, just getting ready to embark upon 32. Originally spent 22 years with the Ohio State Highway Patrol, retired. Spent about 10 years in university world. Spent 2 years at the Ohio State University, then went up to Cleveland State. Spent almost 4 years at Cleveland State University as the chief, then there at the University of Louisville as a chief of police. Now, most recently, in Bexley, Ohio. Bexley is a beautiful community positioned just east of Columbus. We are just a beautiful community, and just it's been just over a year now that I've been there in Bexley.
All right. I appreciate you, and we're going to learn a little bit more about your story coming up here. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You got it. Our next guest here, back when I interviewed her in the early days of the Black and Blue podcast, was a captain with a local police department. She is now a chief of police. So we're going to give her flowers today. So everybody, please help us welcome to the show, Chief Rashana Dabney Donovan.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
That's great. Great. Love to hear that we can call you Chief now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is amazing. Tell everybody where you were when I first interviewed you, and where you are now.
Sure. So I started off my career in 1999 as a community service aide and became a sworn law enforcement officer in the year 2000. I worked for a city called the Hallandale Beach Police Department. I spent 22 years there. And when I retired as a captain, and I left law enforcement for a year, retired for a year, and was kind of doing my thing, and interviewed for a position at the agency I'm at now, which is a small town called Pembroke Park, and was able to get hired on as a major a little over a year ago. And I was recently named chief of police in September. So I've just started my 24th year in law enforcement.
All right. Congratulations. Love to hear it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And our next guest is an assistant sheriff. We'll let him tell you exactly where. When I interviewed him, he was an assistant chief. So let's all give him a warm welcome. Everybody, let's help him come to the show. Assistant Sheriff George Nichols Jr.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing?
Excellent. How you doing, Assistant Sheriff?
I'm doing well, Dale.
All right, all right. So I told everybody that you were somewhere else before. All of you guys were somewhere else before when I first interviewed you. So tell everybody a little bit about that and where you are now.
Yeah, so I started my career in law enforcement with the Prince George's County Police Department, which is a suburb in the District of Columbia. I started in 1997, went up through the ranks, attained the position of Assistant Chief of Police. I retired in 2021 after 23 and a half years of service with the police department, and I had gotten into law enforcement consulting. Interestingly enough, I became a consultant for the current sheriff of Prince George's County, John Carr. The big thing now was police reform, police accountability, and I was actually doing some things with that consulting piece. The sheriff decided that he wanted to start a new Bureau of Professional Accountability, and he needed an assistant sheriff to run that. And basically what I was doing was writing my own job description for him, unbeknownst to me. So I too had left the realm of wearing a uniform, but once you do it, you love it. So I came back without hesitation. I'm glad to be back. So.
Yes. You and Chief Dabney, kind of like that line from, the old Godfather movies? Where he said, I tried to get out, but they pulled me back in.
and again, it is good to see, like I said, Chief Dabney, of course, she and I were SMIP classmates. So it's good to see her and that she's doing well. So.
All right.
Same.
Yep. And we had a fourth guest that was unable to log on today, Aaron Thompson. When I interviewed him, he was one of my first guests out here in California. He used to work as a police officer with the LAPD. He spent, I think it was about 8 years, and he left the profession altogether to go be a stand-up comedian. So I was hoping he could be able to get on, but he's actually on a cruise ship right now, and he was hoping he could get some pretty good internet, but it doesn't look like he was able to get any pretty good internet. But he's doing well. I'm proud of him. So hopefully he can get on, but we'll carry on without him. So, hey, here we go. Let's do this. All right, so like we say down there, where are they now? We're following up with some former guests, early guests of the show. I appreciate all you guys for coming back and sharing your stories now. Let's talk about, real quick before we get that on, we got some clarification here, Chief Lewis. We were talking about the Ohio State University. He says they copied Miami, the U. So Leon Flores says that. Okay, we'll let him tell it. All right, we know, Chief Lewis, right? We know. we know. All right. So hey, I appreciate everybody coming in and joining us. We got some people on Instagram as well. So hey, if you got some questions on Instagram as well, I will be monitoring those and getting those on. So please bring them in. So in the meantime, hey, let's talk about your current your positions now. I know that Chief Lewis, you were in Louisville when I first interviewed you in Kentucky, and now you're in Ohio. Let's talk about what prompted that move. Did you grow up in Ohio first of all, and what prompted that move?
So I'm originally from the Central Ohio area, and this is home. And so ultimately, to kind of skip to the end by answering the question very directly, it really boiled down to family. I've got a young 4-year-old daughter, and it really her being able to have the same experiences that her older brothers have had, to be with family as they begin to age. I had been gone from Central Ohio for about 8 years between my stints in Cleveland and Louisville, Kentucky. And just felt really led to come back home. And so I'm thankful that prayers were answered. The doors open there in Bexley. It's been just an amazing opportunity to really provide a lot of guidance, direction, and take this police department to the next level.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Bexley.
So, Bexley is directly east of Columbus. It's about 16,000 residents. Just an amazing community. We've got a liberal arts university that's located there with Capital University. It's unique in the sense that, especially now, as we're a lot of dynamics, we've got 3 synagogues in a 2.5-mile square that we're responsible for. I've got 33 sworn officers with the agency, and so just continuing to grow and evolve and transition as we're looking for 21st century policing models.
Nice. All right, and Chief Dabney Donovan, what prompted your move? You said you had retired for a year and then you got pulled back in. Tell us a little bit about that, and tell us a little bit about Pembroke Park.
What prompted my move? God, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Real talk.
Yep.
Real talk. When I left law enforcement in 2021, I really had no intention of returning. I was finishing up my master's degree. I was able to complete a 9-month program called Leadership Broward, and I had gotten a job as a voiceover actress. So I was doing my thing, just kind of, being the stay-at-home mom and picking up my kids from school and taking them to school and just really enjoying retired life, traveling and those things. And as I was doing a project for my Leadership Broward class, my phone rang and I answered it thinking that it was a pharmacy telling me that my medication was ready. And it was actually the chief of police for the agency that I work for now. And he was like, hey, I want you to come and work for me. And I was like, who is this? And why are you calling? And I had literally forgotten that I had interviewed for the position of major about 9 months prior. So about 30 days later, I told him yes and decided to get back into law enforcement. It was an actual great opportunity because the town of Pembroke Park was starting its own police department. The town had served 42 years under the sheriff's office. And the mayor at the time wanted to start his own police department for the community. And that's how I got called back into law enforcement. The town of Pembroke Park is about 1.6 square miles. It is a mostly industrious, business-oriented town. We have about 6,000 residents, a lot of mobile home parks, and about 700 registered businesses. And we currently have about 16 sworn personnel. I'm looking for about 3 more. So we serve a community that is we're an up and coming agency. So we're a little over a year old, and I'm very, very blessed and very proud to be a part of something unique.
That's awesome, because that's a big endeavor to start from the ground floor, to start your own law enforcement agency. I could imagine.
It is. It's a huge endeavor, but I know that I'm the person to do it.
All right. Yes, and we know that you are, and we got another comment here from a Damon Radcliffe that says, "Congratulations on your appointment, Chief Dabney Donovan."
Thank you.
All right. So, Assistant Sheriff Nichols, tell us a little bit about what prompted your change over. And tell us a little bit about and tell us about Prince George's County as well.
Okay, so Prince George's County again is known as the DC suburbs. It's right outside of the District of Columbia. Prince George's County is 500 square miles and is home and the workplace for about 1 million residents. So it's very diverse, very good community. Been here now almost 3 decades. So it's a community I've grown and come to grow and love. That I'm from New York City originally, so of course now this is home. Like I said, started my career here in 1997, as a patrol officer and went up through the ranks. In 2021, there was some changes that were coming. And at that time, I thought it would be best for me to go ahead and move on and allow some other, talent to come up. I'd been a deputy chief, one of the police department assistant chief, for about 5 years. So it's time to let it be infused. Plus, I had an opportunity to go into to do some consulting, which I did enjoy. One of the guys, which, like I said, is the sheriff now, Prince George's County, he won the election, and he decided that with all of the new things going on with police reform, police accountability, Freedom of Information Acts, and things like that, to make sure that the community and law enforcement have a symbiotic relationship, he implemented a Bureau of Professional Accountability. Told me, hey, that's your position. I said, really? He said, yeah, you were basically designing it for yourself. I just didn't want to let you in on it, but it's your position. And, just like Chief, Dabney Donovan said, I, thought maybe, it's time for me to walk away from it, but, it still was a lot to do. And this is definitely a great undertaking to be a part of something in which you're going to now start bridging those gaps between the community and law enforcement to show that transparency and share those things. So my goal in this new position now is to ensure that we remain transparent. There's some new things we have now with what they call accountability boards, police accountability boards, and administrative charging committees, which is now a new venture into citizen oversight. So I get an opportunity to work very closely with them and talk about corrective action with the officers, and whether they take inappropriate action or fail to take action. So it definitely was something that I really saw myself doing, and I'm glad to have this opportunity.
Excellent, excellent. And then you mentioned earlier, and then I mentioned as well in your previous position, you were with Prince George's County Police Department, and that's different from the Prince George's County Sheriff's Office, correct?
Yeah, so let me give you the take on that. The Prince George's County Sheriff's Office is actually the oldest law enforcement agency in Prince George's County, founded in 1696. They used to take care of all of the law enforcement duties and responsibilities, and they were also responsible for the courts. In 1931, as things started to change over, prohibition and all those things, they implemented the Prince George's County Police Department. So the Sheriff's Office now is specifically the law enforcement arm of the courts. They deal with courts, evictions, landlord-tenant disputes, civil process, and things like that. However, they do, we also
Yes, it's
deal
we
with
now.
domestic.
It's we now.
I used to say they, now I'm one of them. I have to watch that. So, but they also deal with domestic violence. We respond to domestic violence calls for service, and that's the proactive part that gives them those like patrol officer responsibilities that the police department has. So it's a little bit different as it relates to not traditional policing in the sense, but it's still law enforcement and provides that public safety that we all need.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good to hear that. And get some more praise here for Chief Dabney Donovan. Rashard Dabney says, I see you, Mom. I see everyone else as well. Y'all doing God's work. Don't ever forget that. All right.
Thank you, son.
Got some love for Mom there. All right, cool. So what do you three learn from your previous stints at your other agencies that kind of helped you in your transition to your new position, your new agencies? Anybody can jump in there.
So my last 4 years at Hallandale Beach, I was over probably the toughest division, which was professional standards. And so I had the training division, I had accreditation, I had internal affairs, I had the body worn camera program, I had A, Z, X, W, Y. And so in the midst of it all, I felt, to be honest, largely overwhelmed. It was a big undertaking. And so it was a lot to juggle, and I struggled a lot, and I made some mistakes, and I was able to, pick back up. And so I was wondering, why I was chosen to, at the time, it seemed like carry the heaviest load, right? But
Mm-hmm.
little did I know that that position actually prepared me for what I'm doing now, right?
Yeah.
Because this opportunity with starting a new agency, you have to have your, um, professional standards division in order, because those are the divisions that can either make or break an agency. So having that experience, that administrative experience, is particularly with those divisions, helped carry me over to what I'm doing now.
Yep. Love it. Love it. Anybody else?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
for me, I
I'll
think, oh, go ahead.
no, you go, Chief, please.
Thank you. So for me, I think having been at a number of different agencies, I think what I continue to find is that um, we lack process in our field, and oftentimes it's driven by people. And so it's implementing some change and a lot of opportunities, from accreditation to standardization to making sure that auditing and just those processes are completed, and being consistent, being transparent, communicating that. I think those are some of the lessons that have been learned as I have been blessed to have a number of chief of police positions. So it hasn't mattered the city, state, region. These are some common denominators, and I think that's helped me with each new position to be able to bring in some best practices and look at process over the people, because we've been so focused on, well, so and so does that, and not really having a process to manage it.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Assistant Sheriff Nichols.
Yeah, I guess for me, my last position with the Prince George County Police Department was I oversaw the largest component of the agency, which was the Bureau Patrol, and that encompassed everything. That was a 24/7 operation, so a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of early mornings, late nights, things like that. So it was a nonstop thing. Not that I wasn't prepared for it or enjoyed it, but it was nonstop. Um, Coming into the sheriff's office now, I have pretty much what Chief Dabney was talking about. I have, the internal affairs, body worn cameras, policy and research, accreditation, the CALIA, and all of those things. So actually having touched those entities on the police department made the transition into this position, easy. I would say it wasn't a hard transition. And of course, you're talking about, I had 1,000, like 1,100 people when I had Bureau Patrol for the police department, and the sheriff's office total between sworn and non-sworn support staff is only 365 people. So out of the bureau I run now, I think I have a fraction. You're talking about maybe 40 of that. So it goes from, we ran at a level of here, and even though you don't oversee as much, you still have to have the same intensity, because what you do oversee is important work. So, I was well prepared. The police department prepared me very well for that.
Yeah. Sounds like. Sounds like. Do any of you have any apprehension to doing this new venture? You, Chief Lewis, going to a new position in a new city. You, Chief Donovan, taking on a new agency, head of a new agency. Do any of you guys have any apprehension or second thoughts before you accepted the positions? I'll take that as a no.
Well, I will tell you, for me, state policing is different than university policing, and municipal policing is different than university policing.
Yeah, yeah.
Expectations and deliverables, the audience, the stakeholders, the governmental structures, there are a lot of differences. And so you go into it with a lot of unknowns. I think some of the challenges that you face with the job itself can be challenging. But let's face it, we are a profession where internally building trust amongst rank and file, where you really don't have a relationship with people. And so you have to reprove who you are, what you know it, how you implement change, getting that buy in. So there's a lot that goes into being the new person, especially transitioning where you're an unknown.
Oh yeah, that's a big one coming in from the outside. Definitely, definitely. Chief Dabney Donovan, what do you think?
Um, there was a little apprehension, actually, more so coming back into law enforcement. As I stated previously, I figured my career was over in law, my time in law enforcement was over. And, God said otherwise. And so I did a lot of praying, a lot of meditation, a lot of talking with my family, just trying to ensure that I was making the right decision going back. And I knew in my heart of hearts, I wasn't done, if that makes any sense. I have such a strong sense of community, and I felt that I still had a purpose to serve, and I wanted to ensure that I was fulfilling my purpose. And so it did take me an entire 30 days for me to make up my mind to actually come back. And I came back as a major. I actually just happened to fall into the position of chief, and when the opportunity presented itself, I knew that that was for me. And so I didn't have any apprehension at all about the chief of police position.
Absolutely. Let me get a question in here from Instagram that I can't post. I can just read this off. This is from Lamont Quarker, who is also a previous alum of the show. He was a sergeant at the time. He is now a lieutenant for the Rialto, California Police Department. And he asked, how does one overcome fears of leaving their comfort zone so late in a career to go explore different options from one agency to another? What do you guys think about that? How does
Well,
one
for me,
overcome
I
their
know
fears?
that, yeah, fear is a part of the journey, right? I When I was at my previous agency, there were some things that I was considering, and I didn't want to move, if that made any sense. I knew that I wanted to progress, and I knew that I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to go higher in the ranks, but I didn't have that opportunity there. So I stayed because I was comfortable. I stayed because I knew that this would be, better for me, or so I thought. And so when your higher power or God or whomever you believe in, if you believe in those things, or him or her, when he wants you to move, he'll create uh, a space or a place for you to move. He'll knock you out of your comfort zone. And that's what happened to me. I was definitely knocked out of my comfort zone. And it took a lot of praying and crying and are you sure? And what am I doing? But you do things scared. If you do things scared, you'll get settled in, and it'll work out for the best.
All right. Tanisha Sadell says, congratulations, Chief Rashana.
Thank you, girl.
And Rochelle says, Sissy sending love as well. Congratulations to everybody on the panel. God bless. Thank you.
Thanks, Sissy.
Yep. So what goals do you guys have in your new positions? I know now that you guys are in the quote unquote big chairs. What kind of goals do you have for your agencies, for your organizations? I'll start with you, Assistant Sheriff Nichols.
So for mine is to ensure that we have a high performing professional organization, one that's there to cater to the needs of the people that we serve, and not just be there as public servants, but as community partners and members of the agents, members of the community. Like I said, I live here in Prince George's County. I've been here now almost 3 decades. So that's the same thing I'm trying to instill into the deputies that work there. Just to be a professional, high performance organization and provide those services that are needed and maintain those relationships and forge new partnerships with those that we don't have.
good goals to have there for that agency. Chief Lewis.
I think there's a number of things. One of the first things I did is come in and develop a 3-year strategic plan, look at the needs and assessments of the community, meeting with stakeholders, and just asking expectations of the entire department, civilians and uniform as well. But to touch a little bit on your previous question, I believe that we as leaders, especially as chiefs of police, we have a shelf life of effectiveness. And in that, we have a timetable to develop people, to create succession plans, to meet and reach those goals. I think the years of seeing chiefs of police stay in their positions 20, 30 years is a thing of the past. And so now we're working on shorter timetables to be able to get those accomplishments, those goals accomplished very differently than our predecessors did. So I think that it's important when you have that mentality, that mindset, you're measuring time with a stopwatch instead of a calendar, because you're pressed against time. We've seen our peers across the country come in, attempt to make change, and they have been challenged. Many of them have been let go for trying to do that in a very short period. And so I think that we have to go in very aggressive, very driven, very transparent, and highlight what are the things that we want to accomplish. And so I think when you have that attitude and you're very open with that, that aids in the messaging internally, externally, and even for yourself to kind of help you over that fear of saying, look, I've only got a window of X amount of time to do this, and I've got to get to work immediately.
Okay. It's kind of like a coach. They only have a certain amount of time before they lose the locker rooms, they say.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. So, and last but certainly not least, Chief Dabney Donovan, what are your goals for your new agency?
So aside from creating strong policies and hiring personnel to become fully staffed, I also believe in the commitment to community. I believe in providing exceptional service to the community and providing the community that I work for an agency that they can count on, that they can trust, that they can call to, and that will respond to answering their needs. They deserve it. Having partnerships that are solid and transparent and open, the town that I work for, the employees, they deserve it as well. So my goal is to just continue to be open and transparent and ensure that the personnel that work for me, that they are also with the buy-in, that they can also continue to carry the mission. My own personal mission is to stamp and imprint on the hearts of every person that I come across. And so I want to make sure that my personal mission carries out through my professional one as well.
All right. So, excuse me real quick. Want to kind of toot my horn a little bit here and ask you guys, way back when I interviewed you guys, looks like, let's see, Chief Lewis, you were in episode 64, and Chief Dabney Donovan, you were in 55, and Assistant Sheriff Nichols, you were in 56. So I guess you guys were back to back. What prompted you to trust me to be able to get your guys' stories out there and to share with the world? Because you guys didn't know me, right? You didn't know who I was. You didn't know what my end game was. You didn't know if I was trying to do some gotchas and, is this guy really in law enforcement and all that sort of stuff. So what is it about me and my show that kind of allowed you guys to come on and talk about yourselves?
For me, you created. Go ahead. Oh, thanks. For me, you created
please.
For me,
Oh,
you
go on,
created
go
a
on, please. Go
space.
on, go on.
You created a unique space, right, for those of us in law enforcement that look like us. You know, we, and especially me, you know, being 13% of the law enforcement population, we really don't have a lot of places that really highlight brown and black voices, right? And really highlight what we do and really amplify our voices and allow us to tell our stories in a true and unedited form. And so that's what really drew me to your show. You were doing something special. You know, you were doing something unique that I had never seen or never heard of before. And I knew that I wanted to be a part of it. So I also want to thank you. Thank you for providing this space for people like us to be able to come on here and be able to show other people that, you know, they can do the things that we do. We're setting the stage for them. So I want
Yes.
little girls and little boys to look at me and say, I can do what she does. I can be just like her. So thank you, Dale. Thank you for giving me that opportunity to do that.
That part. I appreciate you, Chief. Appreciate you. All right. So we don't have to gush on about me. I appreciate everybody, you know, coming onto the show multiple times actually. So, you know, this has all been great for me, learning from you guys' leadership and bringing to the table everything that you do, and I can take from that. So I really appreciate you guys as well. But you guys also, as alum of the show, know what I do here towards the end, and we're gonna get this ready for you. I play some trivia with you guys, so let's get this ready. And where we at here? And this game here today is, this is Family Game Night. Moving on up. Moving on up is your category today. Just like George and Wheezy, moving on up as you guys did. You guys have. And that means today's category is people who left successful situations for even more success. What I'm going to do here, let me get you some rules here. The rules are you will be given clues to try to guess the name of a person who left a successful situation they were in to and achieved even more success afterwards. I'm sure you guys can figure out what that's about. All right. The first clue will appear on the screen. You will have until the timer expires to answer. If you guess correctly, you'll get 4 points. If you get it wrong, you will be locked out from further clues. So choose wisely. If you get it right on the second clue, you'll get 3 points. If you get it right on the third, you'll get second. So try to get it on the first, but of course that first clue is going to be the hardest. But the player with the most points at the end will be the winner. So I'm going to give you some clues, and you guys just try to figure it out. All right, everybody got that? Let's play. Let's play the game here. All right, here we go. Your first clue for the first mover. Psychiatrist. All right, nobody guessed on that. How about second clue? Radio show. All right. Sitcom spinoff.
Dr. Phil? I don't know.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect. All right. And the last clue is where everybody knows your name. Go ahead.
I got it.
Who's that, Sheriff Nichols?
So it's
Frazier.
Sheriff Nichols he raised his hand first. Yes, it is Frazier. Yes. Kelsey
I
Grammer.
can't believe you did not get that.
Kelsey Grammer. All right. So we're actually talking about the real people here. So he left Cheers.
I'm screaming from the bed.
Yes. He left Cheers to go do his own show and found more success. He left a successful show to do his own thing. So, all right. So we get you 1 point there, Assistant Sheriff Nichols. All right. So just like that, guys. Here's mover number 2, your next clue. Ready or not? All right. L Boogie.
Lauren
Lauren
Hill.
Hill?
Say your name. Say your name. That was
Roshana.
that was
Dabney Donovan.
all right. We'll give that to you. Yes, it is Lauryn Hill. Next clue would have been Fugees and Killed Softly, Killing Me Softly. Yes, that obviously is Lauryn Hill. You got it on the second guess. We get you 1, 2, 3 points. All right. Just like that. Just like that. Here we go. Next clue. Next person. Mover number 3 is Milwaukee. Nobody wants to try that, huh? All right.